Hi everybody and welcome back to the AUWFC YouTube channel. We're here today with manager Adam. Hey, how are you, Adam?
Hi, it's been a couple of weeks, but good to be back on these.
Good. So we're just going to discuss the upcoming match against Southampton Women's Reserve this weekend and any updates that you've got for us. But firstly, I wanted to ask, as there was no first team game last weekend, but the under-18s played Summertown Stars, how are the girls doing on Saturday?
So I went on Saturday because unfortunately Dan couldn't make it due to work commitments. So I gave Sam and Ollie and Robin effectively in helping the dugout and all that kind of stuff, and probably was a little bit overpowering if I'm brutally honest. But the girls played really well. Obviously, Summertown, we drew 1-1 with them when football returned, and it, some would say it arguably dented our title hopes. Because it was an unexpected draw. They're a good side, Summertown. They're well organised. But on Saturday, I just felt that we prepared well. We, all the way from the warm-up, training was good the Wednesday before. And I've always said that normally if you have a good training session, you're going to have a good game. Mm-hmm. We played some good football. And that was what I quite liked the most about it was we were slowly over the last couple of games going into some bad habits that didn't really work for us before. So we managed to nail out those bad habits. And again, like I say, we played some good football. We had a couple of players that were unavailable. We had one of our top scorers had to start on the bench because she's been injured. But yeah, I was impressed overall with the performance. We've kept a clean sheet. And obviously the under-18s being back at the North Court. And the other news with Charlbury, who are currently top of the league, they drew with Wickham. So it really, although under-18s is not all about title chasing and things like that, and that definitely wasn't their target this year. I said to Dan, I wanted them to finish mid-table, really. It puts the pressure on Charlbury now that they've got to perform because we're level on points, albeit Charlbury have got a game in hand. So the pressure is on them. And if they slip up again, there's a chance for us that we might be able to nick it at the last minute. So
definitely,
it's good. It's positive.
Looking good for the under-18s then at the moment. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this weekend, first team are back and they are on home turf at the North Court again. And they are obviously against Southampton Women's Reserves, as we said. And it's the Subsidiary Cup final, isn't it? Quarter final. So how have the girls been preparing for this game? Obviously, they didn't have a game last weekend. Have they been at training this week?
Yeah, so we have an ethos that we've always had here that we will train for every game exactly the same way. We never... it could be our flaw sometimes, but we never set up against the opposition. We always set up because we want to take our game to the opposition. We'd rather they adjust. And sometimes it can have an impact, when you're playing slightly better teams who already have a game plan, sometimes you do have to adjust. And that's what it's really what coaching and management's all about, and adapting your players, etc. We've had, obviously we're training tomorrow, Thursday. We had a very good training session last night. Last week's training, considering we didn't have a game at the weekend, the numbers were good, which can be a challenge sometimes at this level. If players don't have a game at the weekend, they're not paid, so they go, well, do you know what? I'm going to find something else to do. But equally, the ladies had a night, day/night out. Split into their socially distanced groups on Sunday, which was what they needed, I think.
Definitely.
There was a good vibe, especially last night at training. You know how it is. There's always stories knocked on, and at this level, I think that's really important that you're getting that team cohesion and the fact that they doing well. Obviously, we had a very good result last time out against Tilehurst. I don't like to branch too much on score lines because it's a bit disrespectful in my opinion sometimes, but equally it does represent how clinical we were. We've scored a lot of goals. I'm not sure if it's our record competitive win, but I'm not too worried about that either, I think. But what we're really starting to see now is some real attacking football. We're playing really, in my eyes, we're playing very, very well. So in terms of, I guess you want a squad update as well.
I was just going to say, is there anything we need to know with the squad update for this weekend? Any injuries?
we do have a few players out this weekend, and you have to forgive me because I've got them written down next to me. So Katie Totten's still unavailable. Sadie Timms picked up an injury, which is really unfortunate because she's just hitting form. She picked up an injury against Tarlurst, so she's having to rest again. Lauren and Nell are unavailable, which is obviously in the last couple of games have been two of our starters. So
yeah.
And Rosie, and I will send my best out to Rosie. She's not decided to leave, but she's training for a triathlon. So she's which I think is in June. She'll probably comment otherwise, but I wish her all the best for that, but it's had a hindrance on the fact that that she can't really train and play and train for the triathlon at the same time. So I do send her best, but obviously it means another player is unavailable. But we have a decent sized squad, and we have a very good squad in my opinion. So it's an opportunity for the next person to step up, and I'm confident going into the game on Sunday with the squad we have.
Great. Do you have any predictions for the game on Sunday with any of the girls?
Well, Southampton women's reserves. I mean, people will automatically go, "Well, that's a reserve side." They won't be like that. I know Southampton women's development quite well. Southampton women's as a club quite well. I still remember the days when they and Kaylee might not know who this is, but I still remember the days when they had the players like when they had coaches like Fran Alonso and all that in charge. But they're a well-established unit. I think they've got 3 women's sides, and I always take my admiration to clubs that can continue to play competitive adult football with 3 sides. So they are going to be a decent side, and where the subsidiary cup is split, they've obviously had a good record because they're in the cup side and not the plate side. And that's not disrespecting anybody in the plate side. But so they've obviously had a good, they've had either 1 or 2 good results. But their women's team, women's first team is a very, very good side. We played them in a friendly. So I don't know how many of their players might now be playing for the reserves. Not too worried if they are, because at the end of the day, you play what's in front of you. But they will be a good side, and I'm hoping they play a little bit like their first team as well. That they play good football. It will hopefully be attractive for the YouTube stream, and it'll be a good watch if nothing else.
Definitely. Well, yeah, a good game coming on Sunday, hopefully then. So for some other news this weekend as well, as you know, the Premier League, English Football League and Women's Super League, some of the clubs are actually joining in on a 4-day boycott of social media platforms in an effort to sort of combat the abuse and discrimination that's been going on socials at the moment. So obviously clubs won't be posting from Friday the 30th, which is this Friday, to Monday the 3rd, I believe. So will we be taking part in this? Like, what are your views on this? Obviously, it's quite a big thing for the football world at the moment.
Yeah, and obviously, my general views in it is that there is more that can be done to challenge, especially racism. But I mean, in terms of any derogatory comments online, and to avoid the trolls. I mean, me personally, and I'm in a lucky position. I've never been strictly offended, or anybody's actually targeted me. But I do enjoy trolling the trolls, if you know what I mean. So
understandable, yeah.
But yeah, that's from me personally. We will be partaking in it. The club as a whole, the chairman was very proactive in when that announcement was made, and obviously we're following suit with other clubs. So our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram will be silenced, if you like, over those 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, 4 days-ish. And it will send. And the reason I think, for me, it does send out a slightly stronger message for smaller clubs. And the reason I say that at the moment is because we have a pandemic on, and there's no fans allowed. So it arguably, in our situation, the only way we've been able to communicate games is via social media. So we will still keep the YouTube live. I don't believe that's a social media platform. I believe it's a streaming media platform. So so we've not identified loopholes or anything like that, because at the same time as addressing this very, very important message via social media, we are also ensuring that our followers, that we have some very loyal people that have watched us from day dot, can still watch the game. And the timing hasn't helped, because obviously the last game the stream didn't work, but we have worked really hard behind the scenes to
Yeah,
try and get this, to
very
make sure
hard.
it works this time.
Yeah,
exactly. You will know, Kaylee. And so I'm confident it will work. So on that note, obviously I'm sure we'll put the YouTube link in this post. But
yeah.
you know, encourage people to subscribe on that so they get the alert, because we won't be tweeting about it, we won't be Facebooking about it.
Yeah.
And equally, the FA letter to all clubs does say Facebook and Twitter. So we are kind of reaching out that step further by including Instagram on that as well, because we believe that Instagram does also, unfortunately, attract trolls.
Definitely.
Personal beliefs aside on the situation, you know, it's important that we join the footballing family in this and unite as one. But like I say, we are putting in our minds the followers that we have and the loyal followers that we have, so that they can still watch the game. However, unfortunately, we won't be tweeting our normal updates throughout the game to address this very important matter.
Nice. Well, it's good to hear, obviously, that you guys are on board, and it's also good to hear that from the fans, obviously, the loyal fans that still need that sort of communication during the games and can't obviously come to see it because of COVID, will have a route down that to see that on YouTube still. So that's really good to hear for the fan side of things, and also that obviously we're contributing to making a difference, hopefully, with this social media boycott. So yeah. That's really good. So I do look forward, obviously, to being at the game on Sunday and seeing how the girls fare against Southampton women's reserves. It's been great catching up with you, Adam. It's been a while, so good to hear your point of view on things, how things are going for the club, and we look forward to seeing more on Sunday.
Thank you very much, and don't forget, guys, subscribe.
Yes, click subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date. You can get the notifications for the live game on Sunday. Thanks, guys.